Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life when waiting becomes more painful than change. A moment when excuses lose their power and potential begins to demand action. That moment is now, because 2026 will not become your best year by chance. It will become your best year by decision. The quality of your life is shaped by the quality of the decisions you make when no one is watching. And today, we are talking about the one decision that changes everything. Decide that 2026 is non-negotiable. Most people drift into a new year, hoping it will somehow be better than the last. They carry the same habits, the same doubts, and the same excuses just under a new calendar. But hope does not create change. Decision does. When you decide that 2026 is non-negotiable, you draw a clear line between who you have been and who you are becoming. You stop treating your goals like preferences and start treating them like commitments. A non-negotiable year means there is no emotional escape hatch. It means you don't quit when motivation fades, because motivation was never the plan, commitment was. You no longer ask yourself whether you feel like taking action. You act because that is now who you are. This decision removes hesitation, and hesitation is the silent killer of progress. When the mind is decided, the body follows. The moment you make a true decision, something powerful happens internally. Your brain shifts from, "Can I do this?" to "How do I make this work?" Instead of focusing on obstacles, you begin searching for strategies. Instead of waiting for confidence, you build it through action. Decision activates resourcefulness, and resourcefulness is far more valuable than talent or luck. Making 2026 non-negotiable also means redefining failure. Failure is no longer proof that you should stop. It becomes feedback that helps you adjust. You don't back down at the first sign of resistance, because resistance is now expected. Growth always pushes back, and decided people push forward anyway. When you decide that 2026 is non-negotiable, you stop living in reaction mode and step into leadership over your own life. You lead your time, your energy, and your focus. And when that decision is made at the deepest level, 2026 doesn't stand a chance of being ordinary. It is forced to become extraordinary. Take total ownership of your life. The moment you take total ownership of your life is the moment you reclaim your power. As long as results are blamed on circumstances, people, timing, or luck, progress stays slow and fragile. Ownership changes the game because it puts you back in the driver's seat. It says, "This is my life, and I am responsible for the direction it goes." That mindset alone separates those who stay stuck from those who rise. Taking ownership does not mean blaming yourself for everything that went wrong in the past. It means recognizing that no matter how you got here, you are the one who decides what happens next. The past may have shaped you, but it does not get to define you. Ownership is forward, focused. It asks one powerful question: what can I do right now to move my life forward? When you own your outcomes, excuses lose their influence. You stop waiting for perfect conditions and start creating progress in imperfect ones. Instead of saying, "I don't have time," you ask, "How can I make time?" Instead of saying, "I'm not ready," you ask, "What skill do I need to build?" Ownership turns problems into plans and setbacks into lessons. Total ownership also builds confidence in a deep, lasting way. Confidence does not come from positive thinking. It comes from keeping promises to yourself. Every time you take responsibility and follow through, you reinforce the identity of someone who can be trusted. That self-trust becomes unshakable strength, especially when challenges arise. In 2026, Ownership means refusing to give your power away. No more waiting for permission, validation, or rescue. When you own your choices, your habits, and your effort, you stop feeling like life is happening to you and start living as if life is happening through you. And that shift alone can redefine your entire future. Raise your standards, not your wishes. Most people spend their lives wishing for better results while tolerating behaviors that guarantee the same outcomes. They want more success, more confidence, more fulfillment. But they accept inconsistency, self-doubt, and distractions as normal. Real change begins the moment you stop negotiating with your lower standards and start demanding more from yourself. Your life does not improve because you want it to. It improves because you decide what you will no longer accept. Raising your standards means redefining what is normal for you. It means no longer tolerating excuses, negative self-talk, or half-hearted effort. When your standards rise, your identity shifts. You stop seeing discipline as punishment and start seeing it as self-respect. You don't wait until conditions are perfect, you act, because excellence has become your baseline. Every breakthrough in life comes from a moment of decision where you say, "This is the new standard." New standards shape new behaviors, and new behaviors create new results. When you hold yourself to a higher level, your actions begin to align automatically. You manage your time better, choose your habits more intentionally, and protect your energy with purpose. Raising standards also changes how you respond to challenges. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What does this demand of me?" Problems no longer lower your expectations, they sharpen them. You rise to the level of the standard you've set, even on days when motivation is low. In 2026, stop wishing for a better life and start requiring it through higher standards. Because the moment you decide what you will and will not tolerate, in your thinking, your effort, and your environment, you create a life that cannot stay small. Condition your mind and body daily. Your life is shaped less by your goals and more by the state you live in every day. You can have the best intentions in the world, but if your energy is low, your focus is scattered, and your emotions are unmanaged, progress becomes a struggle. That's why high performance is not about intensity once in a while. It's about conditioning yourself daily to show up strong, clear, and ready. Conditioning your mind means taking control of what you focus on. Whatever you consistently think about, you feel, and whatever you feel, you act upon. In 2026, you must train your attention with intention. Feed your mind ideas that challenge you, questions that empower you, and goals that pull you forward. When your inner dialogue becomes disciplined, your external results begin to change rapidly. Conditioning your body is just as important. Your physical state influences your emotional and mental state more than most people realize. Movement creates momentum. Breathing creates clarity. When you strengthen your body, you strengthen your ability to handle pressure, stress, and uncertainty. Energy is not something you wait for. It is something you create through daily action. Daily conditioning also builds consistency, and consistency builds identity. When you show up for yourself every day, even in small ways, you stop relying on willpower. Your habits begin to carry you forward automatically. What once required effort becomes part of who you are. In 2026, don't leave your state to chance. Condition it. Because when your mind is focused and your body is energized, you don't just react to life, you lead it. And from that state, progress becomes inevitable. Commit to growth, even when it's uncomfortable. Growth is not convenient, and it is never comfortable, but it is always rewarding. Most people avoid growth not because they are incapable, but because growth demands change, and change challenges identity. In 2026, committing to growth means deciding that discomfort is no longer a warning sign. It is a directional signal. It tells you that you are stretching beyond what is familiar and stepping into what is possible. Every level of success requires a new version of you. That means new skills, new habits, and new ways of thinking. If you keep doing only what feels easy, you stay exactly where you are. Growth requires deliberate effort, reading when others scroll, practicing when others procrastinate, and learning when others settle. These choices may feel uncomfortable in the moment, but they create freedom in the long run. Committing to growth also means changing your relationship with fear. Fear does not disappear when you are moving forward. It often shows up louder, but fear is not a command, it is feedback. It shows you where expansion is happening. When you act in spite of fear, you build courage, and courage compounds into confidence over time. Growth demands patience with yourself. Progress will not always be visible, and results will not always be immediate. But every disciplined action is a vote for the future you are becoming. When you stay committed during the slow, uncertain moments, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than comfort. In 2026, choose growth over ease, progress over perfection, and purpose over fear. Because the person you become through growth is the real reward, and that transformation is what makes 2026 your best year ever.